everyone, this is Marissa from the Duxbury Free Library. I'm filming in a room by myself, so I'm going to take my mask off. I'm just going to turn it around. And today we are doing your Take and Make Crafternoon. Because it's November, I decided to do something Thanksgiving related because it is a pretty big holiday. And we're doing a cardboard tube turkey with paint chip feathers. Now, we don't know if turkeys were actually on the menu at the first Thanksgiving, but they become a really big symbol of the holiday. So that's what we're making today. If you registered for this program, you got your kit with the supplies you'll need, and you also got your instruction sheet. If you didn't get a kit, you can still follow along with the video, and these are supplies that are rather easy to get, and you can make your own. So I'm going to go through the supply list and show you what the supplies are, and then we're going to make it together. So I have made so many cardboard tube crafts in the last couple of months, but there are so many out there, and they're a real easy supply to get. So we're using them again for this one. So in your kit you have half of a cardboard tube, and this is half of a toilet paper roll tube. You could probably cut a paper towel roll tube into maybe thirds if you're doing this at home. You have a small piece of yellow paper. This is gonna be your turkey's beak. You have a piece of red paper, and turkeys have what's called a wattle, and I'll, in somewhere in this video, put it in a picture of an actual wild turkey. Although I'm sure you've seen them, they're around quite a bit. But turkeys have a wattle, and it's sort of like this teardrop shape piece of skin, I suppose, that's like, it goes over their beak, so it would be like here if I were a turkey. So we're just gonna cut that shape out of this. That's what the red is for. Then you have a number of strips cut from paint chips. Paint chips are when you go to a hardware store and you're trying to decide what paint color you want to use. They put together these strips, and sometimes they're just singular colors that you can bring home and put up to see if it goes with your room that you're painting. Now, these I ordered, but you can get them at, I would say, any hardware store that sells paint, which is all of them. And I picked autumn colors, even though turkeys don't have ridiculously colored feathers. But if you are making this yourself, you could go get any color you want. You could have a turkey with green feathers or purple or whatever you like. But I chose some muted autumn colors that made me think of the fall. And I cut them into strips so you'd have a number of them. If you're going to do this, if you're going to go get paint chips, just don't take all of them. Be mindful. Just take what you need. And some places will let you order them online. Like I said, I ordered mine online. Oh, and the last thing in your kit are googly eyes, because what's more fun than googly eyes? And those are going to be your turkey's eyes. So we are going to go through this together and make our paint chip cardboard tube turkey. So if you are making this at home and your cardboard tube is not brown, you can paint it brown. Or if you have a brown cardboard tube and you don't want it to be brown, you want to paint it a different color, that's fine. Wild turkeys are quite brown. their feathers are brown. So that's why I'm gonna leave mine this color, but you can do what you like. So that step is on here. If you want to paint your cardboard tube, you can paint it. And I said brown, but paint it whatever you like. So I'm gonna set that aside since I'm not painting mine today, but if you were painting yours, you'd wanna set it aside and let it dry completely. Now you wanna decide the layout of your feathers. So I have, and in your kit, you'll have all different, they're not all the same. You'll have all different shades. So I'm gonna sort of figure out how I want them to go. You can do yours randomly if you prefer that. But I'm just gonna sort of sort through, because what you're going to do is you're going to put them all in like a fan shape and then staple it to the back of your turkey. Let's see. So I'm just kind of eyeballing how we want these to look. And I think I know this is facing me, so you can't really see what I've done, so, but it will. Here, let me turn it around. So that is kind of how I want the tail of my turkey to look. And your next step is to trim the ends of your feathers. Oops, I just dropped my turkey. Okay, put that out of the way. So to get a more feathery shape, you can trim your paint chips into points. You can also, I'll just use this one as an example, you can also sort of round them off so they're more an oval, like so, or you can leave them plain. I think I'm gonna just cut mine into points today. So I'm gonna do that and then get back to you in just a second. Okay, so as you can see, all of my paint chips I've just trimmed to a point. One of my favorite things about working with paint chips is all the names of the paint colors. They're just so clever. So that's part of the fun of doing this project is some of your chips will have the names on them, some may not, but I think it's interesting. That's just a fun aside. So now what I want to do is, in your instructions I say to fan out your paint chips and staple them through the inside bottom of the cardboard tube. I have a brief addition to that. I think to get this to work the best, you're going to want to glue your feathers into the fan shape by overlapping them so they don't all slide apart, because you don't want to have to staple each individual feather. If these were regular size paint chips and I hadn't trimmed them, you might be able to just do that normally, but I wanted you to have a variety of different colors. So I'm gonna do that and I recommend it. So I'm gonna sort of figure out where my first one is, and I'm just going to put glue on the edge of it and overlap it a little bit, but I want that to dry nice and tight, nice and hard. I'm just using white glue so they don't all fall apart, because that would be frustrating. I also recommend using a white glue because these are actually kind of stiff. They're almost like a cardstock, but a little bit thicker. So I don't think a glue stick will hold them as well as, say, white glue, or if you have a hot glue gun, but I think that might be a little beyond what's necessary for this. So I've put down a piece of paper just to cover my space, and I'm just gonna put glue where I think it's gonna overlap and lay it on to dry. This is going to make the project take a little bit longer too, because you're going to have to wait for your glue to dry, but that's okay. You can leave your turkey and come back to it. So I'm going to finish gluing these on and show you my fan once it is all put together. Okay friends, so as you can see, I've glued my feathers layered on top of each other. I'm going to hold it up a little bit more so you can see. Some are I layered on the front and some I layered on the back, just to make sure that they were all lined up and stuck down. I think this is going to make a really big difference in this project. So if you don't want to use glue, or it takes too long, which it can take a little time, you can always tape them on the back to each other. So also when you're gluing this, make sure you pick it up a couple of times so it doesn't stick to your work surface. Ah, I picked off half my fan. That's okay. But you could take a piece of tape and tape your feathers there. I'm gonna stick this guy back down, let it dry completely. And while I let it dry, I'm going to work on my turkey's face. So you really want to make sure that your turkey fan is nice and dry, because as you can see, if you pick it up, you might pick up half of it. But while the glue's still wet, it's pretty easy to stick back down. So I'm going to move this, and we're going to do our turkey face. So here's my turkey. First thing I want to do is put on the eyes, I think, because then it will give me a good idea of where the face is going to be. And I don't want to put them right at the tippy top. I just want to put them down a little, probably just like the tip of my pinky. Turkeys don't have those big red combs like roosters and chickens do, so you're not going to do anything with the top of it. So I'm going to put my eyes on. If your eyes are not self-stick, I know some of the kits they might be and some they might not be. Mine are, so I'm just gonna stick them on. But if not, you would just do like a little dot of glue and hold it on there until it stops sliding around. So my turkey eye there. And another eye there. You might need to, since this is a curved tube, you might need to hold them on for a second just to make sure they are nice and stuck. Already, looks fun. I love googly eyes. So now I want to do my beak, and I gave you just a square of yellow. You can cut whatever size or shape beak you like. I'm going to go with the traditional triangle. Like so, and I'm going to put a little glue on the back of it. It's a really big beak. Now for the wattle, it's a teardrop shape that has like a curve on the top, so it sort of goes like woo. I move my finger down so you can see woo. So it sort of flops over the top of the beak. You can draw one. I am going to sort of eyeball it. We saw how well that worked with my beak, but turkeys are pretty goofy looking birds, I think, anyway. So, and this is just for fun. I mean, it's a turkey with googly eyes, so it's meant to be a little silly. Also, this construction paper I found here in the library is red with glitter in it, and I'm so excited that I found it. So enjoy your glitter paper. So this is my wattle, and I'm just gonna glue it like that on my turkey, just so it's sort of hanging down over the beak. just a little bit of glue. I'm just pressing on it to make sure it sticks. And there is my turkey face. So I'm gonna let this dry a little bit more. My feathers need to dry a little bit more also, and then I'll come back and we'll put it all together. Okay everyone, it is time to put our turkey together. So this is my fanned out feathers. I did notice as they were drying that they curled up a little bit, so you just want to keep an eye on them and keep pressing them down while they dry. I also did decide to tape the back, so you can't really see it there, but I put a little tape on just to make it extra secure because I don't want my turkey to fall apart. So now this is the final step. So you have your turkey face and you want to put the fan of feathers behind it like so. So what you're going to do is you're going to hold your turkey and line up your feathers. And obviously you want the feathers facing out. So you're going to turn it around so the feathers are facing away from you, and so is the turkey face. So you're from this is the other side. So now you want to staple this on, and depending on how thick your cardboard tube is, you might need a little bit more of a strong hand. So if you're a little kiddo, you might need a grown-up's help. And I also discovered this. So we have this stapler here at the library. See how curved the top is? It doesn't fit in the cardboard tube very well. Like it doesn't do what I need it to do. So check your stapler before you staple it. So this one is flatter, so it actually works better. It just fits in the cardboard tube. So this is just a standard stapler. This one I guess is supposed to be, I don't know why it's different, but it is. So you can see the difference between the two and the angle of this one. So you might want to try it out first before you staple it. So that's just something I learned while putting this together. So what you want to do, like I said, feathers facing you, and you want to put the top part where the staples come out inside the bottom. See how that just fits inside the bottom of your turkey, and you want to press down. So I just want to make sure my turkey's still lined up, my feathers are lined up, and I'm just going to press really hard. And then slowly jiggle it out. You can see my staple in there. Boom. Now my feathers have extended a little bit past the base, so I'm going to just trim them flat so my turkey will stand up nice and straight. So that staple part made me a little nervous. I wasn't sure if it was going to go through, but it does. So now that I've trimmed the bottom of it, you can see my cardboard tube paint chip turkey. His feathers are a little going to one side, but it's a lot of fun. I like working with paint chips. And things that you can recycle, like cardboard tubes. And if you are having a small gathering on Thanksgiving, please be safe. And also you can make a couple of these and maybe like use it as a little napkin ring. I don't know, go crazy. Or you could just have a couple on the table because they look really fun. So this has been your Crafternoon for Thursday, November 12th. You can brighten up your Thanksgiving with some of these silly turkeys. And we will see you soon back here on Crafternoon.